What's up, super fans? It is Fit Nerd from Superheroes Ultimate, and today we're going to be discussing the post-credit scenes and the future Spider-Verse, multiverse, MCU-verse, all the verses. We are doing a 50k subscriber giveaway for the Nano Iron Man Gauntlet, fully loaded with the Infinity Stones and LED lights. Simply hit the subscribe button, comment below, and like this video. Now, of course, in order to discuss all of these possibilities, we're going to have to talk about the events that have happened in No Way Home. So if you have not seen the movie, then please pause this video and come back to it after you have seen it. How are you guys? It is Fit Nerd.
Who's Fit Nerd?
I've never heard of Fit Nerd.
Who is that?
I never heard the name Fit Nerd. That's like made up of air. What the heck is that?
How did he get on this channel?
Yeah.
Who are you?
The two things. So first off, the one thing I'll say I didn't like about this movie, and I know that we all have seen it, so I'm going to say what the end was.
Stop it right now. There is nothing to dislike about this movie.
No. This is
I
the
will
thing.
drop kick you virtually through the screen.
We are open to opinion. All right. So basically, though, the thing is it's kind of weird because it's like you forget Peter Parker. But that's the thing I was like trying to figure out is like moving forward, how do you recall like, oh, do you remember that time like we saved the city, or do you like is it like it just vanishes, like it's kind of like drifts, like, you know, the spell drifts you away from thinking about that, like when he was fighting Thanos in Infinity War saga, and that was Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. Is it like, oh, like I remember Spider-Man, but I don't remember like Peter Parker, who he was?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Well, they clarified that at the end of the movie, because everybody on Daily Bugle, they were talking about Spider-Man and Spider-Man this and Spider-Man that. Nobody's associating anything with Peter Parker. Only Spider-Man now. Yeah,
but also, like, how does that? If everyone forgot about who Peter Parker was, how does he like have a job? Like, how does he have a job? Like, I don't understand that at all. Like, does the government be just
papers?
Like? No, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, what? Like
fake IDs.
I'm literally like, okay, wait. I need to scan your ID. Well, there's no Peter Parker. This is fake. Like, there's no one named Peter Parker. This Indian guy is Peter Parker. Like, like this. That's all. Like, there's 3 Peter Parkers in the whole entire world, and not including the Spider-Man. And like that would be, I don't know. That's like the thing I said I don't like about how that movie ended is it opens up so many side plot holes. That obviously way overthinking it. Obviously sticking on just the Spider-Man, Peter Parker, but you know, like I don't know.
They also kind of answered it too when he put up the box on his bed and it had a bunch of GED stuff in it.
Was he
clearly he's got a new identity that he's going to be using to get, because technically he never went to high school. He never existed as Peter Parker.
I know. So
technically, yeah, all the papers technically could still say Peter Parker. It's just that nobody ever knew him. It's like the very first time any of us met. Think about that. Was there ever another Aragon before we met?
Yes. Yes. In the Lord of the Rings. There's King.
Yeah.
Is the Lord in the Lord of the Rings?
It's an extra letter. It's not.
But like
Aragon, son of Arathon.
But like if I was like, hey John, how you doing? And then you're like, or like, hey John, I'm gonna see you later today, first time meeting you. And you're like, oh, let me look up Facebook. Let me see who this guy is. Oh, wait a minute. What the fuck?
Do they have Facebook in the MCU?
Yeah, they have Facebook. They were FaceTiming.
That's true.
That's something different than Facebook is a social media. FaceTime is the video conferencing.
Well, there definitely is some type of social media because of Flash Thompson.
Oh yeah, they have Snapchat. They feature Snapchat in Spider-Man.
Yep.
Far From Home.
Well, because
it's a tricky thing that they're going to be working with here. That literally nobody knows Peter Parker anymore.
Sure. Basically, he's got to start his career all over again. His Spider-Man career. Well, not his Spider-Man career. It's just that no one knows he exists anymore. No one knows of Peter Parker.
Only Spider-Man.
Only Spider-Man. Because remember, they don't know who's underneath the mask. It's just that Iron Man never said I am. Tony Stark never said I am Iron Man. No one's gonna associate Tony Stark with Iron Man. The thing is, they're gonna have to explain that. How has he got a job? He needs a social security card. He needs an ID.
Where's your background check? Like background checks have to be a thing. Like, I'm sorry, but you fucking have the Accordia Accords, and you have the Superhero Registration Act.
Yep.
That in this movie, in a sense, almost undoes that. Like, essentially, I could have said everyone forgets everyone's special super identity. Everyone's just coming in like, hey, this is Doctor Strange. Call me Doctor Strange, because you only know me as Doctor Strange.
This whole movie could have been fixed if Parker just went up to him and said, for Mysterio to forget whatever Mysterio said.
But my question is, hold on. How is it that the Skrull Talos doesn't come back and explain the situation as Nick Fury? That's A, and B is all these drones. They don't have like a software in them that can tell them like, hey, this guy Quentin Beck was Mysterio. He faked the whole thing.
Yeah, really? Didn't the FBI even look into the
exactly
footage? Didn't they realize it was clearly edited?
I mean, why couldn't Peter Parker just said Mysterio was named Quentin Beck? He lied. He wasn't a mother. Look in the Stark database. Happy should have known Quentin Beck because he was head of security.
Well, it's pretty clear that he's not the greatest of head of security.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
Also, we'll get into it in a second, but one thing I just do want to mention is, and I feel like a small Easter egg that was not at all addressed. When Peter Parker's getting arrested and he's like call Nick Fury, try to figure out where, and he says Nick Fury's off planet. Off
planet for a year.
For a year.
And then so he's like, wait a minute, what?
We have a timestamp now. Yeah.
So 1 year from Far From Home. 1 year prior to Far From Home.
That's when Fury was here the whole time.
No. The problem is this movie picks up right after his identity was revealed. Right. This was a few days, so he's been gone. So we're saying that Nick Fury has been gone since Tony Stark's funeral, which was a year ago.
Well, I'm saying when he was
maybe he left right after the funeral.
Exactly.
Right. He could have, and that could be. So then, what movies happened at that time? We have to like collaborate and figure out that little timeline of like, okay, Far From Home happened.
There's like 70,000 now movies from Marvel.
Right. Yeah, you got Far From Home. Far From Home.
The shows.
Far From Home.
Endgame.
Far From Home. Shang-Chi, and then now we got this one.
Let's not forget Hawkeye. I still have a theory that Hawkeye is directly connected to the events that happened here.
Yeah, it is. It's all Christmas time. It's all the Christmas time. It's all happening. So right now, you got Hawkeye going on when Far From Home. I mean, No Way Home is going on.
Right, but also keep in mind, and this might be a little teaser as well, when Captain Marvel 2, that might be connected to Captain Marvel 2 in the sense that her initial story occurred prior to all of this, in the 90s. She came in for Endgame, and then you did the 5-year passage of her being off-world, and then coming back. So in Endgame, it could be sometime that she was off-world with him. That might be. I'm just saying that might be brought up in Captain Marvel 2. All right, so getting back on track. I know we're all here. We definitely want to talk about the end credits scene in Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I definitely want to talk about both of them. What do you guys think of the mid-credit scene with Venom and Tom Hardy?
Well, it answered my question of where was Tom Hardy during this whole situation. Like, how come he didn't show up? It would have been crazy if they mixed up, like they said, oh, Spider-Man has been spotted in Mexico wearing a new black suit. Dun, dun, dun.
That would have been actually pretty good. That was a good idea. And even, maybe even tailor it, tie in the Morbius trailer where he kind of makes a joke in the trailer. And he makes, who am I? And he's like, I'm Venom. I don't know if he said that or Carnage or something. I don't know.
No, he says I'm Venom. He's like,
I have a little pet peeve with that.
why?
Because Morbius is supposedly in our universe type villain, isn't he? He's with Vulture. He's with Tom Holland's universe, our universe, the 616 main continuities universe. How does he know about Venom?
No,
Venom is not from the 616 main MCU.
No, Morbius is not.
I mean, maybe Morbius is set in the future.
It could be, and also, but Morbius and if you look at everything so far that we know about the movie Morbius, there is a poster in one of them that shows that they are in possibly
Sam
Raimi universe, where it says murderer on it, and that was in the trailer. And Sony does hold both license for Venom, Carnage, and the characters Venom, Carnage, and Morbius. So I think that's how they knew. What I don't understand is when Vulture, unless there's a version of Vulture in the Sony verse that we have yet to see, as maybe he'll have his own solo movie. I mean, that might be interesting to see. But staying on that, I agree. I think that they could have had some quick news report, some like police broadcast, like we see a black Spider-Man swinging in Mexico here, and or something like that, or
partying in Mexico,
right? Partying in Mexico. But I really like how they pulled it off. It wasn't anything that gave away anything too much, other than where the next trilogy may go, and that was just to say that we are introducing the possibility of the black suit Spider-Man. Or they might even pass that and just make a Venom spin-off, whatever they choose to do. But I think they're going to go along with the Venom, Venom Spider-Man, Black Spider-Man suit. They could do a lot with this. I think that they're setting up, honestly, Felicia Harding into Black Cat and taking it down that road. I think that they may go even as far as to go into one of the best ever Spider-Man comics, and that was when Kraven the Hunter actually for a time defeated Spider-Man. I don't know if I know that you guys know a little bit about that comic, but it's one of the best-selling comics of all time, probably possibly one of the best Spider-Man stories of all time.
Are you talking about the original series, like the first series? The Amazing Spider-Man Kraven, or
they are making a Kraven the Hunter solo movie. They got Aaron Johnson, they got Quicksilver in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Kick-Ass.
This is going to be his redemption in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they've been going through that quite a bit. We had
that's
Chris Evans as a human Torch, and then he became his iconic role of Captain America. And we have who else? Who else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Come on, Michael B. Jordan. He was also the Human
Torch in Marvel also,
yes,
and then he became an iconic role of Killmonger.
But
so
I think
he
that
was
this
Quicksilver
is actually...
that killed his ass off, and they gave him Kraven now.
Yeah. But I really think that this is where they're planning to go with the character. I think that I mean, I know this is obviously everything here is speculation. There's nothing that's in there, but I really think that what they're going to focus on is strive away from having the Green Goblin, striving away possibly from the Green, depending on what's going to happen. They could go Ned, where Ned does turn on into, essentially a villain, the Hobgoblin possibly. And honestly, I don't know if you've seen his private account, but the guy, he does body transformations like crazy. Like he's able to he dropped all the weight that he plays for the character Ned between movies, and he looked like and just you wouldn't recognize him from like as Ned and what he looks like outside of Ned. So there's very much a strong possibility that the next time you see him, you may not even recognize him. Even that could be. The guy is superhuman.
See, that's a valid point, because in the movie, there was a specific scene in the lab where Peter 2, Andrew Garfield,
was
talking.
He's Peter 3.
No. Toby
But yeah,
was talking to Ned, and he spoke about how he had a best friend,
Yep.
and he died in his arms right
Yep.
after he tried to kill him.
And then Ned says, "I will never turn evil," to Tom Holland.
Marvel may just twist that up right now, like on
Yep.
us, and go exactly that route, and make him go through the whole transformation and make him the Hobgoblin.
I mean, but that will be messed up because like he becomes the Hobgoblin and then he dies in Peter's arms, not remembering that Peter and him were best friends. I mean, that will be just a really big stab in the heart.
This is where I really, really, really love this movie, because it is bringing out the whole storylines that we love from Spider-Man, and a lot of the themes are tragic, making the sacrifice, the moral code that always stops him from his own happiness. It looks like they may go that dark ass route with Spider-Man, because everything about Spider-Man, if you really think about it, sucks.
well, the big thing now with like the next, I'm not 100% certain on the contract what the specific parts of the Tom Holland's contract is, but it's going to be more focused along the Sony verse kind of like themes, whereas the MCU is light and bright. They're kind of going the dark and moody side of things, more along the lines of what Venom has looked like, what Morbius is looking like, and like it's almost, I mean, I want to almost say they're almost making like, in a sense, a Sinister Six type of thing, where they are, even though we did get a bit of that in this movie, we have Morbius, we have Kraven the Hunter, we have Venom, we had Carnage. Let's see where that goes, if something's going to come back at all.
It's the multiverse, they never really die.
It's the multiverse. But getting back to it, like I said, I like the way they did it, and that he kind of makes, it's a very funny scene. He's like trying to figure out like aliens, like big purple aliens, like what, can you explain this to me? The Avengers, like what is all this? Like what are you talking about? And then they even reference Venom references. I knew we should have called, like see how Lethal Protector doesn't seem like a bad name anymore. And then he gets like shoved back to his universe. But you see that one little black blob of goo, and I'm just excited. I can't wait to see what this is going to be moving forward. I hope they don't butcher it. That's all I can say. They did a great job with this one. Sony, please, 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 look at what Marvel did. Look at what Marvel did with Spider-Man. This is the first time, if I can recall, other than like other franchise movies like Avengers, where there is one single character that's in movies more than 3 times, and before and contracted into another like set of trilogy movies. We had Iron Man 1 through 3, we had Captain America 1 through 3, and we even have Thor, which is 1, 2, 3, and kind of a 4th movie now. But it's not, he doesn't have like a whole set of new movies coming out. And Tom Holland, this is the first time we'll be having a Spider-Man that is 6 Spider-Man deep, 6 Spider-Man movies deep.
So we're hoping.
Constant thread.
Or so we're hoping. You know, things can change, because remember they were talking about this movie never came, and you know there was an issue between Sony and the MCU. The Marvel Studios about money, you know, who's getting the money, who's going to get more money or less money or whatnot.
This is true. We almost lost our Tom Holland Spider-Man
number 3.
Yeah, you know, Mommy Sony and Daddy Disney having their arguments about who's getting to pay for what, and hopefully they have gone through their marriage counseling and everything is all dandy, because I mean, it looks like we won't have to worry about those issues after the amount of success that No Way Home has been getting.
Well, we had Tom Holland's tears to thank for that. If you remember the story, he was drunk, and he called I don't know if it was Kevin Feige or someone.
I think he called.
He got a call. He was in a bar. He said he was in a bar with his dad drinking beer, and he got the call. And then he convinced the president or whatever to talk to Sony and then hatch out their problems, and that's how we got Spider-Man 3. So thank you, Tom Holland. Thank you for
Thank you,
sharing them,
Tom
Tim.
Holland. We appreciate it because
Thank
we
you.
wouldn't have expanded on the Spider-Verse without this. So
Yes.
Yeah.
They're trying to set it up where it's going to be Spider-Man and his amazing friends type thing, where it's him and two other people fighting crimes. Like allegedly, they're trying to bring Iceman and Firestar into the MCU, and is the three of them, fighting crime.
Well, they could. I like that idea, and I hope it does come to fruition.
But how are you going to bring Iceman in? They haven't introduced the X-Men yet.
wait, but like
They could. That's
like
later
that
down the line.
Iceman?
Yes,
The
that
X-Men?
Iceman.
Like,
Yes,
Like Spider-Man
Bobby
and
is
his
gonna
amazing
be-
friends.
Bobby. Yes, it's all about Bobby.
So I know back in the day when like early animated shows, there was Spider-Man and his amazing friends, and that was where Iceman made his animated debut as like a TV character. Now, again, I agree that that's definitely one way they can go, but they could go the way of like adding in Black Cat. They could add in different characters to take in that thread, or they could just make that into a specifically like, this is the movie she's going to be introduced in, and then she could have her own thing as well. Like they're just going to keep expanding like a web. Like it's just going to see what I did there. Web.
Madam Web.
All right. If they go that route, my favorite was the final, I think 2 or 3 episodes of the animated Spider-Man 90s TV show.
Yes.
And if they do that, I am going to flip. I will flip out if they go that route. And I want to see the billionaire Tony Stark Spider-Man in a metal freaking outfit.
Yes.
And because that was by far probably my favorite. And oh my god, if they do Ben Riley, oh my goodness.
I would love to see Ben Riley. I would love,
live action Ben Riley.
Ben Riley. Tom Holland playing Ben Riley.
Oh yeah.
And it sets it up right now because he is lost. He has no friends or family, and imagine he gets cloned, and it's him and Ben Riley fighting crime.
Now this may be a little lame, but what if Peter Parker's new name is Ben Riley?
Yes, you took the idea right out of my head because I was thinking about that in the movie theater. Like it would have been so cool. It'd be like here's the apartment, Mr. Riley, papang.
Yep.
That would have been great if they made that Easter and like no one catches it, like Mr. Riley. I'm like, oh my god,
because no one knows Peter Parker. Like instead of making going back, like I'm Peter, like yo, I'm Ben Riley.
Yeah, you just blew my mind, man. I literally didn't even think about that. Like he does have an alias that he could go by that is right in line with the comics. And what if he even comes into another contact with someone who is named Ben Riley? Or if, oh my god, Doctor Strange and the multiverse.
We just opened up a whole can of worms right now. There is one slight thing that people are not realizing. The spell that Doctor Strange was casting and Peter botching it, saying that only people that know already who Peter Parker is.
That is true.
Venom came into this universe.
They were saying that every Venom in every universe
is not supposed to know who Peter Parker is.
It's the hive mind.
That could definitely be a route.
They say that it's...
Like, I think I was listening to someone respond to this, and they said
it looks like
because he had the idea right before he got blipped back. That he was like, I think I'm going to visit this Peter Parker in New York City. That's like almost the last command that he gave the Venom symbiote before him blasting off. The only thing for that little scene, because I'm a nitpick for everything, is if you're sending everyone back to where they came, wouldn't that also include Venom? Even if you were dismembered hand Venom, wouldn't you all go back to your universe? It's
just pull the carpet and just dust it under, and nobody will ever know.
Who are you people? What am I doing here? What?
But I'm gonna completely Doctor Strange forget spell on what you just said. So let's just
Oh yeah. Well, you never know.
Wait, what are we talking about? Can we acknowledge that we totally feel bad over the bartender because we know that the symbiote cannot travel by himself? And if he's not perfectly bonded with people, he's basically going to kill off a bunch of people along the way to get to Peter. Or, well, Ben Reilly.
Let's get away from this, because it's getting darker than I want to be, and then this is not the DC universe. So, let's go to the...
Yeah, no, he's dead. He's fried. You know he's dead. We also
let's
Venom
go
too.
into talking about the second part of the end credits, and that was the teaser slash a little bit longer than the teaser trailer.
Yes, we've
for
all
Doctor
seen
Strange
Venom
and
2.
the Multiverse of Madness. I don't know about that. So, what do you guys think about the that trailer?
I can't wait. It blew my mind. I just can't wait.
Did you guys catch the sneak peek at America Chavez?
Yes.
And
Yes. Well, she was at the red carpet and everything.
You're not botching it,
Yep.
don't worry.
She like took pictures with Doctor Strange actor Benedict Cumberbatch. Am I saying that right? I know it was Cumberbatch. Okay, so Benedict Cumberbatch. So yes, like I saw that, and like it's nice that they're introducing these characters, like expanding on the thing. But I am really looking forward to this movie because all these Disney Plus shows have been supposed to tie into the Multiverse of Madness. WandaVision, What If, Loki, they're all supposed to tie in together and affect the next Doctor Strange movie. And I, for one, cannot wait, especially for after this preview that we got to see. I am so looking forward to this.
I don't really want to call it, but
Mephisto!
it's Mephisto!
It's always, why is everybody obsessed with Mephisto? Like, I don't understand. Since when is he so popular?
But it's Mephisto!
That's Mephisto. That's what you're
It's
gonna
Mephisto.
No, that is not Mephisto. That this Doctor Strange movie that's coming out,
No.
it might
what were you
actually
gonna say?
be
Go ahead.
even bigger than what we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home.
I mean, most likely. I mean, if it's tying in with all these shows and everything, even with why am I blanking out? We're talking about it. Spider-Man No Way Home, when they're talking about the multiverse and reality breaking and everything, is all going to tie in together. It's going to be big. It's going to be almost an Avengers level movie. You know,
it's going to be very, 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 very difficult to top what we saw in No Way Home, because literally what we've seen there is
we've been
together 20 years worth of storytelling.
No, that was Endgame. But the thing is,
it was Spider-Man since 2001.
I agree, yep.
2001.
The man is wearing the symbol on his forehead. All right, listen. The thing is they played this movie, and again, so perfectly. And I don't. Let's just say. I want to make something clear about this movie compared to what the other ones are. Endgame, that was like, you know, when you want to think about the type of genres these movies kind of take after, like, Endgame is a bit of a, like, Braveheart. If you've ever seen Braveheart, where you have the, you know, today we're going to die, like, today we eat or we die. I don't know, remember the line.
Avengers Assemble!
Right, the Avengers Assemble, like, that's like, it's a big battle, it's preparing for the battle.
300, there we go. Compared to 300, everybody's seen 300.
Right, but...
Yep. Avengers! Eat and dine! We die in hell! Or
Spider-Man, what I think happened with this movie is when they were thinking about, they really were, this is the last time we have to do this, guys. Like, we have to get this right. And if we don't, like, we just got to stay away from this guy, like, character. We have to figure out some other thing to focus on. Let's go Fantastic Four. Let's go X-Men. Whatever we need to do. We can't botch this again. And so what I think they tried to do is, because the first series of Spider-Man, not a lot of people are fans of the third movie because they botched it up pretty badly. The second ones, they didn't do well, really ever or that well. Even though they followed through with the darker side of Spider-Man, the Gwen Stacy death, which was a big part of it. And if they had gone with a third movie, I'm sure it would have been good. But at the same time, you know, at that time, Marvel was really picking up speed, and that's when everything started changing. Like, all right, a few years down the line, Tom Holland, he's the new Spider-Man, let's go. There was no room for Andrew Garfield to go into to try to portray Spider-Man one more time. So I feel like this was doing fan service. Like, oh my god, I mean, we'll get into it at another time, but so much fan service to Andrew Garfield. Like, thank you for
great closure.
For yes, that closure was so well. And so I agree with John in that, you know, in terms of like what they did with this movie compared to others, this was truly about self-sacrifice and being able to acknowledge that you're not perfect and that sometimes you have to give something up. And that was, I feel like, a big theme in the movie. But compared to what we'd have in Multiverse of Madness, remember how Multiverse of Madness was sort of like this, pitched as was supposed to be a horror movie. It was supposed to be a bit of like a, you know, like we're gonna see these creatures that like, you know, are really like kind of your things that you see in your nightmares.
Interdimensional beings.
Interdimensional beings. Even in the trailer they showed was Shomogarath. Shimagarath, yeah. So, in a sense, I agree with you. They've worked with WandaVision. They built it up with WandaVision. They had Loki, which, by the way, just pointing out, there was no sense of Loki in this trailer whatsoever. Which I'm sure they're keeping.
It's confirmed that he's in there, though.
I'm sure he will.
It's confirmed that Loki is going to be in Multiverse of Madness.
Right, and
he's got to make at least one appearance. He's got to make at least one. Like, right. Even in the background.
Right, and and the What If series as well, even at the very least introducing the evil Doctor Strange, or like the bad version of
how about they show Peggy Carter as Captain Britain?
Which is also one of the rumors that's happening, is that we're getting the actual Peggy Carter that we saw in Agent Carter, and, well, the real live action one, which actually voiced that in is coming back to be that character in Multiverse of Madness also as Captain what's her name? Captain Britain?
Mm-hmm. Captain Carter. No, Captain Carter.
Captain Carter. Sorry, Captain Britain is what hopefully Henry Cavill will be in the future.
What I actually think is a really cool thing they may be able to do, depending on if they go this route, is actually bring in also the weak Steve Rogers.
No, they're not, because Chris Evans says he's done with playing that role. He's done
playing. He said he's done playing Captain America.
Andrew said he was involved with No Way Home. Toby was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about."
You can't trust Andrew Garfield. Said he's a werewolf. I'm not the werewolf, guys.
No, but the thing is, They say Toby, like when people asked him, like, "Are you gonna be the new Spider-Man?" He used to wink at people. It was Andrew that kept saying, "No, let's change the subject. I'm not going to be in the movie." Like, he kept changing the subject.
I'm not the werewolf, guys. I remember that there's an interview. It's like, guys, I'm not the werewolf. I swear I'm not the werewolf. But yeah, I'm really excited. Everything they showed. I was honestly a little confused about a few things with the parts of the trailer that they showed. Where he goes and he just kind of talks to Wanda very, very like nonchalantly. We may have Vision in this movie, possibly. I'm sure he's in it somewhere.
Don't be surprised if he's not there at all. Actually,
I wouldn't, but I'm sure
they might actually utilize his that vision to set up the West Coast Avengers.
They could. But they could also, if it's a cameo, just like Loki in there, they could just have him for a brief split second. Maybe even just to like remind Wanda, like to maybe that's going to be how she gets out of her evil trance.
Like a vision or something that...
A vision of a vision.
Like a vision of vision.
Like a vision. I was a big fan of the What If series. I loved the story they showed of like what could have happened if he had taken the dark route, if he had become more of a master of the dark arts rather than the Sorcerer Supreme. But now he's like Strange Supreme. I think that's the official name of him.
It also opens up the can of worms if you go back to Endgame. There was a specific scene where the Incredible Hulk. Well, it wasn't the Incredible Hulk. It was Professor Hulk, the weird one that I don't really like Professor Hulk, but I won't get into that now. When he was discussing with the Ancient One, and she says, "Wait. Did he make a mistake, or did I?"
That was the Ancient One.
I believe that... No, that was the Ancient One, but I believe when she said this, she was literally thinking about the moment in What If, where she divided Strange and is regretting making that mistake.
No, I think that she was referring to the mistake she made in not giving him the time stone, because they just said Professor Hulk asked her, okay, if you guys can't give up the weapon, why did Strange gave it up? She's like, willingly? Yeah, he just gave up the thing, because she said that Strange was supposed to be the best of them, and that's why maybe she made the mistake. Because after they had that conversation, and he said that Professor Hulk said, hey, he gave up the stone to Thanos willingly with no problems. She's like, maybe I made a mistake, and that's when she put him back in his body and gave him the time stone. That's when she put her faith in Strange.
Yeah,
but I do believe that was her mistake, though, that she previously did that.
I don't think
that whole event with What If happened.
One thing I definitely love, and because I just love this character during the first Doctor Strange movie, was Baron Mordo. Baron Mordo, we saw just for a brief. He is Dreads now.
Yep.
Yeah,
of course, we found out before even watching the trailers. We found out because of the Marvel Legends action figures that were released.
I'm just excited that he's gonna.
They gave away Shimagoroth also.
Yeah,
because of a puzzle. Multiverse of Madness, and it was Doctor Strange against Shimagoroth, so we knew who the villains were.
That's why you just gotta buy toys. Just guys, you gotta buy toys. That's how you're gonna learn about.
Guys, go and buy the collectibles and the shirts and stuff. They give out everything. They spoil everything.
They spoil everything for you. Baron Mordo, I think last time we saw him, he was stealing all the magic back in the world. People who have been using the magic for sorcery or whatnot on his mission. So I'm wondering how that's going to play into the larger part of things. I can't wait.
He said there were too many wizards. That was the problem.
Yeah, he was going around siphoning their magic.
I wonder if that's going to be a possibility of how, Wanda returns back to normal. I wonder if he's going to absorb her magic of the chaos magic.
Well, and, there's nothing wrong with her.
There's nothing wrong with her, and I know she's a Nexus being, but...
She's just really OP.
She is. But there's got to be a way that they're going to bring her down, and it may end up being where they rely on taking away her power through Baron Mordo. And
But this multiverse issue is not her fault.
No, not her fault, but you never know how it's going to connect.
That's Strange's fault.
I mean, we can all point the finger at Loki for causing this.
Well,
all right, so I heard
Lady Loki.
I'm going to say what I've heard with the leak, if you're open to it. If everyone here is good with the leak, that I'm going to talk about very briefly.
Spoilers!
Spoilers.
Okay, this is a leak, though, so it's not confirmed.
This is a leak. It's not confirmed. It was a leak. So the story that they're going to follow is that Doctor Strange comes to Wanda in order to figure out this multiverse problem, and she's going to use him to see if she can find her children, since to do that. So it may be that during the film she begins as an ally, but whenever just like how strict Doctor Strange was with Peter Parker. In No Way Home, where it was like, you messed up the spell, you're in trouble now. I think he's going to have the same demeanor to her. Like, no, you cannot take your kids out of this reality and bring them with you. You're just going to upset the balance more. And she's going to be like, okay, well, boom.
I'm doing it anyway.
I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to put you in La La Land, like Agatha Hart, and kind of just maybe move that way. But the leak I had heard was that was kind of her road that's going to lead into the movie, that she's going to be an ally at first and then end up using Doctor Strange to find her kids, because right now she's just got the Darkhold. She's learning how to use it. She's reading through it. She knows her kids are somewhere out there, because we know that she heard their voices right at the end, the last few seconds of WandaVision. But she may not be able to figure out how to navigate it, and that's where Doctor Strange might be coming in, and that's why we're kind of seeing this now. And that also really introduces Kane the Conqueror into everything, because I think Loki Season 2, or Part 2, is going to be set in spring of next year, or February, March of next year. So it works perfectly. Or I'm sorry, not it's
2023. You're talking about.
No,
Well,
it's 2022.
Well, Kang the Conqueror is gonna.
Wait. When Loki was initially created, it was supposed to be a lot longer. It was. Yeah. So that little scene, they kind of readjusted. That was supposed to be the mid-season like part where it was like, oh my god, this is what happened, and then everything happened with COVID. Everything got delayed, and that part 2 of the season now is going to be season 2 instead of part 2. So they're using it as a second season, but that initially it was supposed to be all one season. It was supposed to be, I think, a full something like 12, 14 episodes, something like that. I don't remember how long Loki was. I think it was like about 6 to 8 episodes.
That's like the typical average for all Marvel shows, right? They're like all running around 6.
WandaVision was 9, I think. If I remember right, it was 8 or 9. I remember
that was a longer one.
That was a longer one. Captain America and Winter Soldier, that was
6.
I think 6.
That was 6.
What If was 10, I think. Something like 9, 10.
Except for that one episode that they didn't air.
That was the Gamora.
The Gamora episode was never aired. So we
Right.
never saw her anything story.
Right.
She just showed up in the last episode.
Right. And that might be something that they add into the second season of What If, because that's confirmed now.
Do you guys think we're going to see the black-suited Spider-Man in there at some point?
No.
I agree with Ocean right on this one.
I mean, he is a major part of issue number 8 of the Secret Wars.
Yeah,
and also, which version of Secret Wars? Because are they going to the original version against the Beyonder, or are they going to go to Secret Wars with whatchamacallit, Doctor Doom?
Depends. I mean, we know that Fantastic Four is confirmed to be now in the MCU. Well, eventually.
Oh no, it's in development. It's in development. It should be out in a couple years.
Right. And you could very much introduce them in the sense like as an integral part of the MCU. Maybe even not all 4 of them together, or maybe them not without the superpowers, but essentially like, this is Richard Reed. He's gonna help you with da 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 da, and so you are introduced with him, and he's there. I mean, when I think of things like that, I think, and this is away from Marvel a little bit, but I'm a big fan of the Flash TV show and the Arrow TV show that was on the CW. And that's how they did it with Flash, is they didn't come in and say, this is the Flash. They said they introduced him in one episode of Arrow as Barry Allen. 2 episodes, sorry. Yeah, you're right. 2 episodes of the Arrow show, and they brought him into his own later on. But that, it was just that this is Barry Allen, this is who he is, he's a forensic detective, he's going to help with the case. And I think that's what they may do. And I remember even with Secret Wars that Richard Reed was a big part of that. If they're going to go the Doctor Doom route, that could be also a big part of how they introduce mutants as a whole into the MCU as well. Because
that could be one of the biggest ways of introducing the mutants into the MCU.
It could be something related to Multiverse of Madness as well, because if you're talking about different universes, it's the same thing. You can introduce the idea of mutants into the world of the MCU somehow by that. And I think there is in the House of M run that Wanda actually does create like a world without mutants. I think that was one of the biggest
that's
parts
the whole
of it.
House of M. Yeah, that's the whole story arc in House of M.
Yeah, so very much they can go that route.
Now, if Tom Holland is not to be the one to show up in there, because we need a Spider-Man, obviously, in the Secret Wars. So he is a major part of the Secret Wars storyline. If it's not him, what do you think are the possibilities of either, quite possibly, Andrew Garfield popping back in, or Toby Maguire popping back in? Because at the end of No Way Home, when Toby Maguire was stabbed by the Green Goblin, he was actually supposed to be a proper send-off for him to die. And then Kevin Feige went back and did reshoots when they're holding, each other up, when Andrew Garfield's holding up Toby Maguire. those were all part of the reshoots because they kept him alive. They changed it. Kevin Feige said he really looks good. He still looks good as Spider-Man. Let's not kill him off.
How are you gonna bring him back into this universe?
Remember, the Secret Wars is literally the entire multiverse. It's characters from all over the different multiverse.
Okay, see, I didn't
it's
know
not
that.
just ours. So that's why you actually see in the new Secret Wars, you see Miles Morales in there as well.
Well, if I'll say this, if Toby Maguire does his negotiating like he did in this movie, definitely a strong possibility.
I mean, he made his case even stronger.
He made his case
did you guys
very
see
strong.
the fan reactions around the internet right now? Just look up fan reactions, and it's like many theaters went buck wild when Andrew Garfield. But then for Toby was louder.
In my theater, I unfortunately was the guy who every little thing that I was like thinking of, I was like, I couldn't even I couldn't contain it. I was like, yes! I looked around like, I'm sorry, and then people would be like clapping and like, this person's introduced, this person introduced. But when we saw like him opening up, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's coming, and I'm like, and I knew, the thing is, like, I knew Tobey Maguire was going to be in this movie for sure. So yeah. I was expecting, like, this is the big payoff. Is it going to be Tobey Maguire or is it going to be Andrew Garfield? And I got excited when Garfield came through, and I was like, Garfield. Yes! Tobey Garfield. Multiverse. There is one out there. Honestly, I wasn't too taken aback. I was like, I knew he's going to be in a movie. I knew they were going to go for, second try here, and like they pull out like Toby, or like, all right, here's Tobey Maguire's coming through next. It was like, all right, yeah, they're going to try 3 times. Like that's like you couldn't not see that coming. If you're as much of a nerd as we are, but there was definitely a fan reaction. I heard people clapping, like everyone. I had to tell you know what? I'm sorry. I was really annoyed at this. I had to yell in my theater when the credits were starting to roll, and I see people start to lift their butts out of the seats, and I'm like, guys, stay until the end.
Well, I mean.
I literally said
27.
How many Marvel movies now? How many Marvel
27.
movies?
27. This was the 27th movie.
How do you not know to stay to the end?
Like the whole front row in front of me. I literally, I said that. I sat back in my seat. There was a guy to my left. I didn't know who this is. I said amateurs, and the guy was like smirked at me. He like cracked up. He's like, I'm like, all right, come on, guys. If you're seeing this movie for the first time, if this is your first Marvel movie, you get a pass on this because it's your first Marvel movie.
Hero comes. Cue the Spider-Man one. Alex is looking up for everybody.
I will say my moment. I will say my moment in the entire thing was, and this. We'll get into this in another video, but when Matt Murdock was introduced, I didn't even stop to think what I did. I said, yes! I literally punched up without even thinking about it because I didn't know. Like, honestly, I was like, please. If I've watched Hawkeye, if you haven't watched Hawkeye, episode 5, suggest you do, and I'm not going to spoil that. And if they do decide to take Tobey Maguire, or they do decide to take Andrew Garfield and use him, I think that would be a good. I think this is where they end, honestly, until maybe that's really just up in the air, honestly, for me. I see them doing voiceovers. I see them maybe coming back in like a What If season 2 kind of thing, but
they would have to pay them a hell of a lot for that voiceover.
Marvel can afford it. They can afford it. They made over $1 billion for Endgame.
They got Disney money.
And they made over $1 billion off of Endgame. Come on.
Well, this is
No Way Home is about to hit $1 billion. It will hit $1 billion.
They had, I think, if I recall correctly, what I heard, 257 million so far.
Yes, 257. It's a third on the list of the highest ever grossing.
It beat out the Star Wars movies. It beat out Force Awakens.
Yep.
It beat out So the only thing I'm gonna say, and I don't think nothing's gonna pass it for a while, but I'm a little. The only thing that might pass it possibly, maybe
Black
the Matrix
Adam
movie. No, the Matrix, because they are tight-lipped.
The Matrix is done.
Let me ask you.
It's the worst timing ever for them.
Listen. Can you tell me anything about the plot of the Matrix?
Zero.
That's coming up. Zero.
Nothing.
Exactly. Nothing's been leaked for that movie, which means that when you go in, you're gonna either hate it or you're gonna love it. And
how many people are really talking about the Matrix right now, though?
Well, it's a bad, like you said.
We are right now. We're talking about it right now.
We are. Okay, we are. There's 3 nerds talking about it right now.
Listen, you got everything coming up now. The next thing that Disney's been doing, we got Warner Brothers putting out Matrix. You got the Book of Boba Fett coming out in about a week or so with Disney.
Seriously, yes, that's true.
Yeah, and so, like, they know what they're doing. They knew that this is going to be a big week for Spider-Man, the new big week for Marvel, and they know that you're going to be watching all their shows to catch up. You're going to be watching Hawkeye. You're going to be watching WandaVision. You're going to try to put the pieces again together, because I got to go back and I got to see what happened at the end of WandaVision, even though I know. And Loki. And I want to see Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror, let's do this.
Kang the Conqueror is totally going to be all over the place. He's possibly the reason why we have the Tom Holland events going on right now.
Yeah, true.
If you look at the sky when the multiverse, when this universe was breaking, it was all purple. I don't think they did that out of just because.
Listen, I'm going back to the theater on not New Year's, Christmas Eve, and I'm watching it on IMAX for a second time, and I am going to be like all over for the 12 seconds they do a rip across the sky to see how many Easter eggs I could see, because that was very hard to see anything.
Scorpion, I can tell you right now, I saw Scorpion and Kraven the Hunter.
Yep, and those are possibly coming up.
And the Rhino.
Sony. Yep. And
I swear that one of them was a Rhino, but it was like such a blink of an eye moment. Like
it was the original
I went twice
Rhino,
already.
though.
I went twice already, and even the second time I was in. It's like it flies by you.
But you know what? It wasn't the machine Rhino. It was the actual like hulking Rhino. Like that was the one I did notice, and because it was strictly in the front, and it was just like the big the horn you noticed up here, and that was all you saw. And I was like, oh wait, this is not the Paul Giamatti one where he's at the end of Amazing Spider-Man and he's like in the big
lame machine Rhino, as Andrew said.
The lame Rhino. But I mean, I honestly before seeing the movie, that one scene, I really wanted to see if there were going to be any extra cameos of different Spider-Men just peeking through, like a Miles Morales one, or
which they have already they've casted the live action Miles Morales already, so we know who live action Miles Morales is going to be.
You could have had even the kid, the actor, the one portraying the animated version from Into the Spider-Verse be there as like a kind of like a crossing into our universe kind of thing.
The next one is the Multiverse of Madness. I think it'll be the bigger one.
Clone Wars.
Which one? The newer one that came out a few years ago, or the original one?
I prefer the original, but I prefer the original one. But either one.
I never really liked the original one.
That was one of my favorite ones.
That's when they said that Peter wasn't actually the original Peter.
Yeah, I know. And Mary Jane was not the original Mary Jane. I really hope, as one small thing at the end of this movie, that they somehow end up reuniting Mary Jane with Peter Parker in the future. It's something to talk about at a different time. I know, but I just had to put my thoughts on.
I did have thoughts on that, and I believe that they will be doing that in 3 movies from now.
At
the end of this era of Spider-Man that is coming our way.
You mean when Tom Holland and Zendaya actually get married for real?
They're probably going to be like fully blown, having families and everything, and he's boning Felicia Harding in the second Spider-Man movie that's coming up.
Well, you know. Okay. Anyway, I think that's a good time.
Is he really the real Spider-Man? Is he gonna happen in real life? He's with MJ both on screen and off screen. So that means when Felicia Harding comes in, she's gonna be a homewrecker on screen and off screen.
Oh damn!
Have you seen Tom Holland's parkour skills? I'm just saying. He is the real life Spider-Man. He just needs someone get a tainted spider and let it bite him.
That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Guys,
all right, guys, that is a wrap. We have discussed the possibilities in the multiverse that are about to occur. If you guys enjoyed this conversation, give us a like, hit the subscribe button.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about what's going to happen with Spider-Man and the Multiverse of Madness, and what's going to be the next big event. What's really going to have us going, ah! And then the movie theaters.
Is it going to be Kang? Is it going to be Doctor Doom? Is it going to be Beyonder? Is it going to be the Black Suit Spider-Man?
Is it going to be Galactus? Is it going to be Galactus? Is it going to be Howard the Duck?
We are doing a 50K subscriber giveaway for the Nano Iron Man Gauntlet, fully loaded with the Infinity Stones and LED lights. Simply hit the subscribe button, comment below, and like this video.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Peace.